Good afternoon, everyone. This is Spartan News. I'm the Spartan. This is Sunday, June 25th. This is your late, I apologize, update on Russian military losses. And then I'm just going to touch on something that I've been pounding the table on for a while now, which is the Ukrainian offensive in the what is most likely the Kherson region. And some recent successes that have kind of backed up what I've been saying. So to start with, military losses. So to the one main point right off the bat is the Ukrainians were responsible for it, but the Russians have now suffered, by my estimation, my math, over $68 billion in losses in the special military operation that was going to last 3 days. Troop losses, 720, ticking back up again, no surprise. Given all the offensive movement and pressure that the Ukrainians have been applying across literally the entire front line. No planes, 2 AP armored personnel carriers, excuse me, no helicopters. What's noticeable about the planes and helicopters is it just shows you how accurate and realistic that the Ukrainian armed forces are trying to be, and the Ministry of Defense, when they're putting out these numbers. They could have easily claimed yesterday that they, through 6 degrees of separation, were responsible for the 6 to 7 air assets that the Russians lost. I believe it was 6 helicopters, 1 plane, a couple of electronic warfare helicopters, all told at least 15 air crew members, if not more. The 1 plane, I believe it's 7 to 8 on board, and then the helicopters. By my estimation, I think that's a lowball number, because I think the helicopters are typically going to have a minimum of 2, whether they're Ka-52s or Mi-8s or Mi-24s or whatever happens to be. So I know 1 helicopter had 1 crew member, probably the pilot, parachute. So you assume, and we know we have 6 confirmed helicopters. So we assume that that's 12 minimum crew members, if not more for the electronic warfare ones, but 12. 1 parachuted will take it down to 11. And then the fixed wing asset had 7 to 8 crew members on board. We'll take that at 7. So I think you put those two together. I think the Russian pilot losses yesterday were 18 minimum, but that's my math. 4 vehicles, 41 cruise missiles. Feel free to pop in the chat. Anybody seen any more than 41 cruise missiles? That's a record for me. 6 tanks, 2 anti-aircraft warfare systems, 19 artillery, middle of the road, 5 special equipment. Seems to be middle of the road. There's a lot more focus on whatever those are. 12 UAVs, no boats. 5 MLRS, which is huge. I saw all 5 get taken out, like literally within a city block. It was 5 Grad 21s, anyways, all within eyesight of each other, and all 100% confirmed taken out. I think by 2 shells. I think 1 shell hit took out 3 to 4 of them, and started to have cook-offs of the rockets, etc. And like I said, 68.14 billion in dollar value losses, I estimate, for the military conflict in Ukraine for the Russian forces. Now, I'm not going to, again, I'm just a little fish in the big sea. I have been stating for a while now that Ukraine is prodding, probing, testing, pushing, and drawing forces away into the Zaporizhzhia, Donetsk, Kharkiv, Oblasts, incursions in the north to draw troops away. Prigozhin even helped draw troops away, and probably cost a whole bunch of Wagner troops their commissions, and they're probably not going to fight anymore. So literally everything under the sun has been working in the favor of the Ukrainians, if I'm right, and if their main push is going to be across the Dnieper River. Now, again, I heard 2 separate, very large YouTube content creators today, again, basically state, disappointingly, why it's such a bad idea and why it's impossible. It sounds like, according to them, it's almost impossible that the Ukrainians can cross the Dnieper River. And I've heard descriptions and analogies and things like that. Like, well, yeah, the floodwaters have received, but the ground underneath is so wet. It's so very wet, and it's going to stay wet forever. So you're assuming that the Ukrainians are going to attack or are going to ford the river in a low area, not on a pre-existing bridge that was damaged and that can be repaired, not in high ground, or not able to make it across in what you would call like not a low ground, not a high ground, but a medium ground area where it's dried out fairly quickly. And considering it's the heat of the summer, to think that, in the Antonovsky Bridge area, to think that the river, when the dam was blown, that the Dnieper River somehow, the level of it raised up 9 meters, 6 meters, 18 feet, 20 feet, and then permeated the ground for square miles around. And then even though the river has now receded, not just back to where it was before, but actually below its previous heights, average height, whatever daily height, in a lot of places, you're saying that for the whole month of June, basically since June 6th, that ground has remained sopping wet. In no way, shape, or form can the Ukrainians use medium to heavy equipment anywhere. It's just a no-go zone. That is categorically wrong, in my opinion. Every single prod, push, feint, attack, everything that the Ukrainians have been doing has been to draw troops away from the Kherson Oblast, the Kherson region, to the Dnieper River. I'm telling you right now, the Ukrainians have now crossed the Dnieper River, apparently with at least 3 tanks, if you believe all the estimates, all of the unconfirmed rumors, etc. The Russians are stating that they've crossed it. The Ukrainians have, some sources are indicating they have, and some of the firms, some of the video proves it. So, I wanted to just point out a couple of things here. Let me see. And I just hit refresh by accident, so I lost a couple of things that I was going to show you. Here we go. Okay, so a fully loaded Russian BM-27 Uragan MLRS captured by Ukrainian in the Kherson Oblast in seemingly perfect condition. This indicates the extent of the advance over the past few days. So these Uragans are not on the eastern bank or the right bank of the Dnieper River. They're on the west bank. There is no Russian positions on the right side or the eastern side of the Dnieper River. So if the Ukrainians are capturing high-end, intact equipment like this, they are not just having a special operations, shoot and scoot. They are taking equipment. They are taking territory. This is verifiable proof of that happening as we speak. They're across the river. They're across the river in enough numbers where they're taking territory, they're taking equipment, and they're comfortable posting videos about it. There are differing reports of the extent of their success so far in Blahodotne, but it seems clear that they have not yet captured it. Ukrainians repelled a Russian attempt to advance in Tarajivsk, 38 north of the Alexandrivka, to the west of Kherson. Here's another one. Captured Russian positions after Ukrainians advance in Kherson. There are many such videos emerging. The Ukrainians have made significant advances over the last couple of days. Another one. Finally, good news. Kherson. Ukrainians broke through the Russian defenses in Davidov Bridge and pushed several kilometers south into the town of Bruski. Bruskiski. Or Bruski if you like beer. Russia tried to slow down the advance with artillery. Ta-da! Attacks down here, across the Dnieper there. 43.5 kilometers, which is 43.5. What are they using that one for? Is that artillery? Is that HIMARS? It's not HIMARS. I don't know what they're using that for. But anyways, the beat goes on. There's another one I wanted to show you. Ukrainians tried to advance with second. This isn't the one. But anyways, it shows attacks here, attacks, repelled attacks here and here, claims. And Ukrainians advance with light vehicles under fire from the Russians in the Kherson area. I'm going to mute that. Click a mini thunder run. Oh wait, that one might be old. I think I remember that. I forget that one. I thought this was fresh until I saw that Humvee take that berm. There was one more piece of proof. I'll see if I can find it. If not, I'll end this. But I want everybody to keep an eye on the Kherson region. No, those are all old. Old. I've gotten into the old. Sorry. That's what was wrong. I clicked on old when I refreshed instead of. See if I can find one more for you. I apologize. I totally screwed myself up when I hit refresh. I had 4 good video clips, and now I've lost it. No, I wanted to find there was a bit more confirmation of the Ukrainians with the 3 tanks across. Anyways, I'll leave that for now. But yes, focus on everything else. Yes, the Ukrainians will break through somewhere else. In Vuhledar, for example, make up a city. They're gonna keep on pushing and prodding, whatever. The Russians are gonna break somewhere else. The Ukrainians might put in some extra reserves to take advantage and see if they can really make a punch through like they did in the Kharkiv region. At the same time, they have 9 brigades in reserve that have not shot a single bullet since they were formed and since the start of this offensive. They are waiting. I think some of them have moved around to the left side, to the right side of the Dnieper, and they're ready to come across in pontoon bridges, pontoon barges, etc. And I really think the Ukrainians, if they could wave the magic wand, they would break through somewhere between Mariupol and Melitopol and cut the land bridge there. But at the same time, the path of least resistance, if you get across the river, is southern Kherson region, and make a thunder run for the Crimea border and trap 2/3 of the Russian military in the Luhansk and Donetsk Oblast. That's my thoughts. That's my hope. I hope I'm right. I hope that's what's happening right now. Keep an eye on the space. Love you all. Have a great day. Slava Ukraini.